Hello, everybody. Ella J here for a wrestling gal, and today I am joined by one of the UK's hottest stars, the Hot Topic, Hollie Barlow. How are you today?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm so good to be catching up with you. Like I said, it has been a hot minute since the
hmm
last time I've talked with you. You've gone through a lot of emotions and a roller coaster of a journey since then. So obviously we'll kind of talk about that. For those who don't know maybe what we're talking about, you've had quite the journey the last
Yeah,
few years, both in and outside of wrestling. Last year you returned to the wrestling bubble for the first time, I believe, since 2021. So it had been like
yeah.
3 years since you stepped into a ring, because that year you announced your retirement. Obviously, there's no such thing as retirement in pro wrestling. You are now
No.
back. But I firstly wanted to take us back to that moment in 2021 because you said that you felt as your place in wrestling was no longer after coming
hmm
back after the pandemic. So I'm kind of curious, can you tell us more about what led up to this decision initially to retire back now 4 years ago almost?
Oh gosh, it feels like such a long time ago.
I
I feel like I
know.
was in a completely different world then. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just kind of came back after COVID, and I don't know. I feel like the wrestling world was had such a big shift after COVID, and I know everyone struggled, but I kind of couldn't see past that. And I was very much just like, I'm not in the right headspace. I ended up getting hurt. So that kind
Yeah.
of, um, I think 'cause I was not in the right headspace and I was already kind of debating it. And then I got hurt and I was like, right, okay, this is my body and my brain saying, take a step back. Um, and yeah, I don't know, like I was just I kind of felt like I was taking opportunities away because there were so many people coming in as well at that time that were kind of raring to go because they'd been away during COVID.
Yeah.
Everyone was kind of raring to go and get the opportunities. And I was there like, oh well, I don't really want them, but I'm here. So I kind of felt a bit of guilt that I was taking opportunities away from people. So I kind of made that decision to take a step away because I just thought there's people here that actually want what I'm being given, and I kind of feel cruel that I'm taking them and not taking advantage of them. So I was like, see you later.
Was this injury that you mentioned your back injury or something else?
No, so I don't really know exactly what I did it on, but the second show, so I only did two shows when I came back. I
Okay.
did, and they were two double headers, so I did four matches altogether, I think. Yeah, four matches altogether. And I did the first show. Was it the second? No, it was definitely the first show. So I did the first show, and I was in a tag match, and it was me and Danny Holt versus Alexis Falcon and JJ Webb. And I go to single leg northern lights there, and as soon as I landed, I was like, something's really not right. And I remember just being in like the worst pain. I couldn't like pull my pants up, I couldn't pull them down, I couldn't like pick anything up. It was that sort of movement. So I could move my arm, but I couldn't pull up things, and it was really
Mhm.
difficult. And I just couldn't understand what had happened. Um, and I went to A&E and stuff, and they thought it was a torn rotator cuff, and then I went to physio, and they thought it was a torn bicep tendon. And then I had this whole saga where I went to get an MRI, and the hospital sent me someone else's medical records and ghosted me. So I just never got it sorted out in the end. But
Oh my God.
yeah, that was kind of like, I don't know. I think my head weren't in it, and that happened, and
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, this is my body saying you need to take a step away and just kind of see what you want to do.
Well,
So
how
yeah,
is your shoulder, bicep, whatever area doing now?
it's doing okay. Like it holds up well. It's definitely just a pain that I kind of deal with. It's
Yeah.
definitely still there, and there's sometimes like 9 times out of 10, I'm usually fine. And then like one match, and it'll be something so minute that like nothing in the match
hmm
happens where I'm like, oh, this could have done it. And I'll just come away and be like, oh God, like my shoulder's killing me. Um, but it's really well managed, and I had a lot of physio on it and stuff, so it's holding up well.
There you go. That is
Yeah.
good to hear.
Mhm.
Especially still so young. You're what, 24 or 25
24,
now?
yeah.
Yeah, so like you're still very young. So I'm glad
Mhm.
that, you took the time to
Yeah.
heal. And, during that time away, obviously we'll talk about bodybuilding in a second,
Mhm.
but
Oh yeah.
did you discover any other new hobbies or passions while your time away from the ring, or how else did you spend your time?
Yeah, just working. I did my uni degree. So I've
Yeah.
just finished that. So I kind of went to uni and kind of, whilst I was away, I thought I may as well study. So did that, did my bodybuilding, and that's kind of pretty much it. Just life kind of happened and kind of gets away from me. So
I think we were talking last time. I know it has to do with animals, I believe, your degree. What is your exact degree now, or did you change it?
I changed it, yeah.
Okay.
I think when we last spoke, I think I did an animal care diploma and then went into a degree and then left that
Yeah,
degree. And then I went back to uni in 22 and I did counseling and psychotherapy.
nice.
So
I have a
big
psych
change.
degree myself. I just
Ah,
haven't used it, but I get that.
yeah, I feel like yeah, I'm not gonna use it either. I'm finishing up my third year and I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to go into that. But it's a lot of transferable skills, so
Oh, absolutely. You too. I
mhm.
mean, I feel like it helps you in life too, and it can also kind of, I mean, I know we should like self-diagnose, but I feel like you have a better understanding of yourself too, because you
100%.
know the background and everything.
Yeah.
Um, Now I'm curious, obviously bodybuilding was a big part of your journey in that 3-year block that where you were away. I saw you competed at the PCA Physical Culture Building Competition. Congratulations. That is awesome. You completely transformed yourself. What motivated you to compete and train in bodybuilding?
I was just kind of filling a hole, really. I think I've always been I'm not super athletic, but I've always had something there that I've kind of,
Hmm.
well, I've been wrestling since I was 14, so I've always had something there that I kind of had a physical outlet. And also that kind of sense of community is so big in wrestling that once I kind of came away from that, I was like, I feel like there's such a big hole where wrestling's gone. And I was still such a big part in wrestling. Like I was still there all the time and spent a lot of time at shows, but I didn't have that physical aspect of it. And during lockdown, I was watching a girl who was training and getting ready to compete, and she kind of motivated me to try. And it was just one of those things where I was like, I don't want to do it, so I've done it and see if I can do it. Um, so yeah, I started prep like April time of 2023, and then I had a 6 month long prep, which was hell. But it's given me a newfound appreciation for the sport and for the people that do it like year in year out. I did one show and I was like, yeah, that's it. I can't do that again. And there's people that do it like every year religiously, and it's definitely definitely a choice.
Well, I was gonna ask, tell us more about your that 6-month training journey, and
Mm,
obviously the result was I don't want to do this again. But also, how was your experience like at and competing at the bodybuilding
yeah,
competition?
it was so cool. Like I genuinely, I didn't mind it. Like I'm a person that thrives on a sense of routine. So for me to kind of have such a well structured day to day plan, um, was great because I didn't have to think about anything. I didn't think about what I ate. I didn't think about what I did. I just did it because I had to do it. So I really thrived on that, and it is really rewarding because you're constantly seeing changes all the time,
Yeah,
and there's that constant like kind of hunger to get better because you're seeing it all the like you kind of reach like I don't know. There's a point when it starts plateauing a little bit, and then you dig harder and you see more like physical
yeah.
changes, and you're like, wow, this is really cool, and just kind of seeing how much affects your body. And like my coach was really cool. She was really, really good. And I just met so many friends through it. I don't really speak to many people now, but during that time, so many people are messaging you and like you're in groups with your coaches, other clients. So you get to know so many people and I go to seminars and stuff. So I met loads of people through it and I still follow them now and interact now and again with them. Um but yeah, it was kind of re-immersing myself into that kind of sense of community. And even in the gym, because so many people knew what I was doing,
Yeah.
everyone would speak to me. So I'd been there for like 4 hours because everyone was talking to me and being like, "How are we getting on?" Um, and yeah, it was really, really cool. So I am really fortunate and glad that I did it. And it's such a cool time in my life. I don't think I'd ever do it again, but for me to look back and go, oh, I did that, and that's really, really cool. So I'm happy I did it. Don't regret it.
I'm so curious now that you've seen both sides of bodybuilding and wrestling, how different are the regimens, both physically and like dietary wise, between bodybuilding and
Mm.
wrestling?
I think there's so much more flexibility with wrestling. Like
Okay.
I would be the first person to admit that like I'm not the best at the moment. And I can get away with it, like it's fine. As long as you can go in the ring.
Yeah.
Like obviously physical appearance is such a big aspect of wrestling, but you can kind of get away with it. Whereas the bodybuilding, there's no middle ground. You can't just
True.
go out and have a meal because
Yeah.
you just can't do that. So I like the flexibility and kind of having a social life. Like when I did bodybuilding, I just didn't have a social life because I could
Mhm.
barely talk, like let alone go out and have a meal or go out and interact with people. I remember like towards the back end, I couldn't even hold a conversation because I was just like my had just I was burning more calories in 1 hour of cardio than I was consuming in a day. And I was
Wow.
like, I was on so little food that I was like, yeah, I can't. I'm just a thing. I'm a being at the moment. Whereas now, like, I've got such an active social life and I'm such an extroverted person that I thrive on
Yeah.
that. So, yeah, I definitely enjoy wrestling in that aspect a
Yeah.
lot more. Um, and yeah, it's just a lot easier.
Well, now that you have a looser leash on like what you can do
Mhm.
physically and dietary wise, what are your go-to like cheat snacks or meals? I'm curious.
I'm such a chocolate
Oh
person.
my, same.
Like, it's so bad. I've got the worst sweet tooth ever. It's really bad. And I've recently just found I got a newfound love for tiramisu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I started drinking coffee like maybe like a year and a half ago, and
Hmm.
ever since then it's just been a downward spiral. And tiramisu has been my, yeah, guilty
Well, there
pleasure.
there you go. You gotta
Mhm.
treat yourself,
Yeah.
everyone. You got to. It's good for the spirit as well.
That's what I say.
I'm curious too because you mentioned obviously a big part of you leaving was kind of like mentally feeling out of it. So I
Mhm.
guess like how did you center yourself back mentally, or what was the trigger or switch that made you decide that you want to come back to the squared circle?
I This is gonna sound really cringe, but yeah, I want to preface this by saying like I had no intention of coming back at all. Like I
Okay.
had someone asked me on the weekend actually, like, oh, like did you miss it? Like, did you want to come back? And I was like, no. Like I had no, there was nothing in me that wanted to come back. It was merely just scratching an itch because I finished bodybuilding and I was like, oh, I'll just go to training. And I was so convinced I'd hate it. Like I was like, I'm gonna go training, take one bump and go, yep, not for me. I'm happy. I'll leave that. And I went to training and I did like a full session and I was like, oh no, I really like it. And then I kind of spooked myself and stopped going because I was like, oh, I really don't want to love it again. um and I stopped going and then I started rewatching wrestling as a fan because CM Punk came back and I was like, oh, this is the best thing ever. And this was, yeah, like the start of 2024, and I was watching Punk and stuff, and when I first started watching wrestling, Punk was one of my favorites. So it
Yeah.
kind of just reignited that kind of almost childlike experience for me of watching wrestling as like a really young fan before anything had happened, before I trained, like before, like before you get old and the world gets bad. It was like this was wrestling in its most organic form as like me as a child watching it, and it just ignited all of that. And I was like, God, wrestling's really cool. And it just made it fun again. And then I started going to training, and I really, really enjoyed it. And then that's when I came back to wrestling. And yeah, it just makes wrestling so much more special now. And I would take this version of me over my first wrestling version because wrestling's just so like I don't know. I just love it, and I've got such a like almost childlike view on it now compared to when I
Yeah.
was debuting when I was 18, which is crazy because I'm 6 years older. But I have such a like kind of like youthful view on it, and I'm like, oh, wrestling's just fun. I'm gonna make it fun. There's no pressure to like go to big companies or get signed or do any of these really big extravagant things. It's just like I just want to have fun, and that is the foundation of it all. Um, so yeah, I'm just having the best time ever.
I feel like especially you said you started at what, 14?
Hmm.
Like you're still a kid yourself then,
Yeah,
and part of like, with training and shows, part of you're sacrificing your social life, you're more physically active than a lot of your, classmates and all that. So you're making a lot of sacrifices while also trying
yeah.
to like grow up yourself. So maybe
Hmm.
it feels like you're kind of getting back like your childhood a little bit that was not taken away, but you had to sacrifice a lot of it in your
Yeah,
early goings. Now that you know what you're doing, you're back in the swing of things. Now I feel like it balances it out, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Like when I was training for the first time, I would train like 4 days a week because I was just so like eager to get
That's
better
a
and
lot
that
as a high
and so,
schooler too. My
yeah,
gosh.
like doing my GCSEs and I'm like, but I'm training 4 days a week. Like I
Yeah.
would train all weekend, so I would never hang out with friends or have sleepovers because I was wrestling all
Yeah.
weekend. I'd go to training, and so now I kind of have that balance as well. And just yeah, just it's really ignited like a really youthful spark. And it's just really special now. Like the amount of times I cry after a match because I'm just like, this is great. It's the best time of my life.
Yeah.
I just love it.
Well, thank you, CM Punk, for getting Hollie Barlow back in the ring.
Honest to God, the day I meet that man and I'm like, I owe my wrestling career to you, will be the best day ever.
He is half of the reason I got into wrestling. Him versus Jeff Hardy was the first match I ever saw. So
Uh,
I haven't met him yet either, but he's kind of half the reason I guess got into
mhm.
this too as well. Like there wouldn't be, without him.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to see him back. And I feel like he's kind of similar too. Like you can see the joy in his eyes too,
Hmm.
you know. Obviously, stuff has happened, but you can see the joy back in his eyes with wrestling. So maybe that's kind of like what inspired you as well. He's having fun again too, you can tell.
Yeah, and I feel like when people actually enjoy wrestling, you can see it. Like, and I
Yeah.
think that's one of the reasons why I kind of like I'm like doing okay in wrestling at the moment is because people can genuinely see the joy that I have when I'm
Yeah.
wrestling. Like, and I have a lot of people say it to me, like, you can see that you're actually thoroughly enjoying yourself in the ring and you're just having fun. And a lot of people don't have that because there's so much pressure. So it's just I'm really blessed that at the moment I can just kind of skirt on through, enjoy it, just take it as it is, and just have a lot of fun. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been, I believe, about 10 months since you've been back. Time
Hmm.
flies. Obviously, you returned last year at Future Shock's 20th anniversary show against Lily Winter last
Hmm.
August. From what you remember, tell us about your experience and the feeling of being back in a ring and how, maybe coming back, we're all our own worst critics, but also how did you think your overall performance went?
I I remember that. So we had this like whole thing of where I was gonna, because I was doing social media for Future Shock.
Yeah.
So we had this whole thing of like, right, I'm gonna film her, and she's gonna call me out into the ring. And I was filming the whole show, and the entire time I'm thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'm making the worst decision of my life. Like, why have I just chosen to do this? And then I remember filming it when she was in the ring doing the promo, and I was like physically shaking, and I felt sick, and I was like, oh my God, I
Oh.
can't do this. Like, this is gonna be the
Mm.
worst day ever. And then it went like it was fine. Like it was just like because it was only like a short like squash sort of match, and it was just like fine. It went well, and I was happy with it. And I remember getting backstage and I'm like sobbing, I'm like crying. I'm like, oh my God, this is so special. I was like, can't believe I'm back. And I think because I was so convinced that I weren't ever going to come back. Like there was nothing in my brain that kind of said one day maybe. It was always a
Mm.
no. And people ask me like never say never. I was like, no, it's a no. Like I really don't want to go back. Um and to kind of have that moment, I just remember being sat there and I was literally in hysterics because I was like, there was never a day that I imagined I'd be in the right mindset to come back to wrestling. Like it weren't the passion, it was more I didn't feel not necessarily safe, but I was just like, I don't think I can kind of get back to that mindset that I used to be at, and I don't want to um feel the way I felt, you know what I mean, like forever in
Yeah.
wrestling, and I don't want it to be tarnished by that. Um, so to kind of come away and be like, oh my God, this is what wrestling should feel like, and this was great, and I don't feel crap, and like I feel really positive. That was kind of
Mm.
just a big turning point for me. So, yeah.
sometimes you need that break to kind of appreciate like, like what the one thing that you once loved
Hmm.
to spark a joy. You need a break from it because if it's just go, 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 it just, it just becomes like routine and after a while, not boring, but like, like the light dulls a bit, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes you need that break. And obviously you've done a lot of cool things since then and in full circle things. Last month was one of those moments. You main evented Future Shock with the women's
Yeah.
title number one contenders match, I believe, against Lizzie Evo.
Hmm.
Tell us about that moment and its significance to you.
Oh yeah, that was just really, really special. I don't know, like I remember, so since going back, I've not really been that nervous for matches. Like I wrestled some of like the bigger promotions, and I was like, I've always been quite chill because I'm like, you know what? If this goes wrong, then like, it's not the end of the world. Like if the company doesn't really book me again, then that's fine. Like I've got a life, I'll crack on. Like life will go on. And I've always got quite a like really relaxed view on wrestling now. Of like, if it goes really badly wrong, and I've had the worst match of my career, then it is what it is. Like I'm just never gonna watch it back. Like, and I learned from it. So I don't have that kind of like catastrophized view on wrestling of like if I do one thing wrong, my entire career's gone to shit. So I haven't really been like stressed about matches. I've gone into some pretty chill. And then this match, I remember just feeling like ill all day. I was like, because I think it was one of those matches for me that I kind of felt like I had to prove myself. Because since coming back, I've kind of like not been a comedy act, but because I've been enjoying wrestling, I have naturally kind of gone into the almost comedic role of
Mhm.
like I'm having fun, I'm a bit ditzy, like I'm just joking around. So this match for me was kind of my way of proving that I can be a serious wrestler. I can have a proper match. I can go 25 minutes if you want me to go 25 minutes. I can go six. Like, I think I just wanted to be able to offer to someone like, if you want me to, I can be the opener, I can be the comedy match, I can be the main event. Like I can do all of it. Um, and it was just one of those matches where I really wanted to prove myself, and I was like, this is important to me to prove to myself that I can do it, and I'm not just like someone you stick on for a laugh. Um, and I was wrestling Lizzie, who's like such an important part of my career, and like one of the nicest people I've met in wrestling. So I was like, I want to do her justice, and I also want to have a good match because I know we can have really good matches together. Um, and like being main event as well was really special. Um, because I've never really done a main event style. Like I've done main events, but never really main event style match. I remember saying this to some of the guys when I got it. I was like, I want it to feel like a main event style match. I don't want to just be like a 20-minute match. I want it to feel
Yeah.
main event style. And I was really, really adamant on it feeling like a main event. And I feel like I did okay. Like I'm very, very happy with the match. Um, I'm just kind of yeah, really, really content. Lizzie was amazing. And then obviously now I get to go and get the Future Shock Women's Championship. So
Fingers
fingers
crossed. Go get
crossed.
that title,
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah. Go and get that bag. I'm hoping I get it. So
Now, I do have to ask, obviously, that was one of the more serious matches moments, but one of the
hmm
more entertaining, I don't even know if it's feud, you're friends, you're not. What the hell is going on between you and Lana Austin? It seems that you're trying to win her over as your tag team partner and her friend, and she is just not accepting it.
hmm
What, for those who don't know, what is going on between you and Lana Austin?
Lana Austin's being stubborn. She will not be my tag partner, and I've been trying for months.
I
So
know.
when I first came back to wrestling, we had a feud.
Hmm.
And then after that point, I turned a new leaf. I was like, you know what? Actually, I don't hate you. I want to be on the same page as you. But she's not having any of it. She thinks I'm too, well, I'm not serious enough. So I'm pretty gutted, and I'm just doing everything in my power to make her my tag
You even
partner.
tried matching shirts. Like,
I've tried everything. We've just been putting out skits online at the minute because I went to work at her brother's shop,
mhm.
and we're gonna try and be a tag team. So I'm trying everything.
It's been really fun to watch too. I mean, Lana is so dramatically like charming though, if that even
hmm
makes sense. She's so dramatic, but it's so charming and just entertaining as heck. That's the social media aspect of wrestling is huge, and like you two are definitely capitalizing on that, I feel.
Yeah, on it, like I didn't realize how much social media had a big part until now.
Yeah.
um, and like the Lally Forever stuff has just caught on so much, and I really didn't. And like we talk about it now and again, and I say to her, like, I really did not anticipate for it to get this far. Like, I thought it'd be a joke for a bit and then that'd be it. But like, so many companies have kind of asked us to do it there, and like have really, really got on board with it. And we've got like True Grit and Atomic that are like the main two that are doing it.
Yeah.
And we had our tag match at Atomic last week where she refused to come out, and then she came out during the hot tag and did her song and missed the tag, which was pretty useless tag partner to be honest. Um, but they were chanting for her name when I was on the mic, and then they were chanting Lally Forever when she came up to the hot tag. And I remember just being sat there and I was like, this is crazy because we at that point we hadn't even done it properly there. So for them to have caught on, I was
Yeah.
like, wow, this is so heavily brought from social media, and then has organically grown within a promotion. So it's just because our aim really was to try and get as much content out between the True Grit shows, because we weren't working True Grit for like 2 or 3 months because our dates weren't aligned.
Yeah.
Um, so we were trying to get as much out there to keep it fresh for True Grit, and then everywhere else was kind of we ended up wrestling at other places and capitalised on it there. So we had more content, um, and more chances for me to try and get her to be my tag partner. And it's just kind of spiraled and worked really, really well. So I'm having the best time of my life. Although she won't be my tag partner, I'm praying that one day she will.
Lolly. Well, I mean, technically, I guess she was, but like from the start is like we want a duo entrance. You guys share a theme song. Like we
Yeah,
want the whole shebang, matching gears,
yeah,
obviously one step at a time. For the first step would be getting her to there at the match at the beginning. That would be the biggest step. Then I
I
feel
know.
like it's only up from there, you know?
I'm really trying. I'm really, really trying.
You seem to be making headway finally, at least. So
Yeah,
you just need to give Lana that little nudge. Like
it's baby step.
Lolly forever. Lolly is meant to be, you
It
know?
is. It's destined forever.
I absolutely agree. You know, another cool recent moment, tied in wrestling and film. You wrestled on a show with David Arquette, your favorite from
Oh,
Scream.
right.
Girl, I need to know all the deets on that.
I don't know where I was like, where's it going? That was the best day of my entire life, right? So, funnily enough, I weren't booked in that show for until like that week, and
Mm,
I offered to chauffeur Lana Austin so I could be at that show to pay to meet David Arquette because he's one of my favorites, right?
yeah.
So I was like, right, I'm gonna chauffeur her, pick her up from the airport, like the good tag partner that I am, and I'm gonna take her to the show and then get in and get a picture of David. And and then I get booked on the show, and I was like, this is fate. Like this is supposed to be.
Absolutely.
And my friend was a big shout out to Nick for getting this. If it weren't for Nick, I would not be doing. I would not have a picture of David Arquette. So big. I owe my life to Nick, right? And I went to him, and he weren't with David, but he was with someone like 2 seats down from him. And like he kind of doesn't oversee it, but like he's a big hand there. And I said to him, I was like, if you can get me a picture of David, I would literally sell my soul to you and I'll marry you. I was like, you can have everything you want. Not my cats, but everything else you can have.
Yeah.
Um, and I got a message. I was just going to the toilet, as I think, and I got a message and it was like, David, go, go, go. And I sprint across the bloody, I think like Bowlers Exhibition Centre. I sprint across it and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And he was just about to leave for lunch, and I managed to get a picture of him. And he was like, "Oh my God!" And he was really tired because he basically something happened with his flights, and he couldn't get on
Mm,
the flight that he was supposed to get on. And
yeah.
apparently travelled like 4 hours to another state to get a flight to come down.
Oh
So he'd
wow.
literally like this is just another shout out to Dave as well for being like the nicest guy ever. Because all I heard was good things about him. He then got to the show early so he could go around all the exhibition stands and like
Yeah.
buy stuff from them. And then did his stall all day. And then, so he was like, you could tell he was kind of a bit dead behind the eyes by the time I got to him because he was so tired. So I felt really bad. This poor man was going for lunch, and I was like, please. And yeah, I got a picture of him, and he was like, "Oh my God, I love your hair." And I was like, "I'm a really, really big fan." And I wanted to show him my tattoo because I've got a ghost face tattoo, but I felt a bit bad kind of keeping him for too long. And I think his agent was a bit like, "Right, come on, guys, like he's going for lunch."
Yeah.
So I took a quick pic, and then yeah, off I went. But and then he watched the show, so I didn't know he watched the show. And afterwards, one of my friends came up to me and said, "Oh, David was a big fan." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, he watched the show and he was cheering for you and everything. And I was like, that is the craziest experience of my entire life. I could quit happy now. Like David Arquette's watched me wrestle. It's crazy.
Mhm.
So definitely the peak of my wrestling career so far.
Now you gotta like tag team.
Got a tag team with him. I
Mhm.
honestly would. I think that'd be great.
Are you a big like horror buff, like in general?
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
horror so much. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a really big horror fan.
What would you say are your favorite franchises or movies besides Scream within the horror genre?
Like the Scream's really up there.
Yeah.
Can't for life of me like I watch so many horror films. I can't think of what it's called now. Um, it's got like Ed and Warren in. Ed. I think it's Ed and Lorraine. It's like not. It's not Insidious. I can't think what it is, but it's something along those lines. I really enjoy those films.
Mhm.
I can't think what it's called now. That one anyway. It's like a really like yeah, around like demons and all that sort of thing. And then Saw. I love Saw. Really like Saw. And then yeah, I've just been and watched the sixth Final Destination film. So I've just been out and watched that yesterday. So yeah, I'd say they're probably up there. I don't mind Halloween. I actually don't hate Halloween, but I feel like that's quite controversial.
Oh, yeah. What is your I don't want to say beef. What is your little like meh with Halloween then? I'm curious then.
It's, like the new films just don't really make much sense, and they
That's
kind of
fair.
like I don't know. I felt they made too many of them,
Yeah.
but then I also kind of love them, so I'm like I can kind of get past it. Like
Hmm.
yeah, and then like my I think my one of my favorites is probably Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
I really, really like Hannibal Lecter as a character. Not the fact that he's a psychopath, but I just think he's really interesting. Like I think it's a really cool concept. So yeah, I quite enjoy that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you kind of had that full circle moment with David Arquette. Now,
Same.
and he got to watch you wrestle. Girl, he
Honest to
was cheering
God,
you on.
I wish I knew because I would have been like clapping his hand. I'm like, yeah,
Been like, hey,
got a little pic
yeah,
with him. Got another
yeah,
pic with him.
yeah.
But yeah, yeah.
Um, I feel like you've had another cool opportunity. I think it was at For the Love of Wrestling. You got to meet
Mhm.
Mick Foley. We talked about Mick last time and how he was one of the reasons you got into wrestling. I think it was that weekend.
Yeah.
Um, Tell us about your I've met Mick as well. Very kind man. What was your experience meeting Mick Foley?
It was real quick, so I didn't even get to talk to him. So I was a little bit gutted, but I was like, I'm really happy that I got a picture.
Yeah.
Um, so I was doing the Rumble at that show. So I did Progress on the Friday. I was doing the Rumble on the Saturday for Future Shock at the convention. And again, shout out to Nick. He was doing that, and I said to him like, "Please get me a picture with it with Mick Foley." So I mean, I don't know if I should be saying this because I think it was like maybe a little bit naughty of me to do, but I got snuck in with like the platinum ticket holders. I don't know if I should be saying that or not, but if not, well, yeah, I don't know. Sorry, people. Um, yeah, I got like kind of thrown in, and I didn't want to take anyone's time as well because I knew that I was kind of snuck in.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not about to start asking him questions and taking people's time because people have actually paid to see him.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'll go in, get a pic, go like literally, it was like that. I walked in, stood, took a picture, walked back out. Like it was there was nothing, no interaction, no nothing. So like, I was a bit gutted, but I was like, I couldn't take that time, so I was like, I feel a bit guilty for doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
Fair
but
enough.
it's really cool. I've got it framed now, so
There you go.
yeah. And I
Always
had a
have
little
that.
mark out. I was like marking out. I was like, oh my God, I got a picture, and I was like crying.
Yeah. That's one of your favorites, though. You know, he's had a
Yeah.
big influence on your career. It seemed like that whole weekend was fun. I think you met D'Lo Brown too, as well, if I'm thinking
Yes.
correctly. And you were pictured with a snake. Like I would be run away. I know you like animals, though. I just can't do snakes. I don't think.
Oh, it was fake.
Um. Oh, I
Oh,
didn't
it
see. I
was
didn't even
fake.
realize it looked real to me.
I had some people be like, "Is that real?" I'm like, "No, it's fake."
Well, I'm
But
glad to hear
yeah,
that it's fake.
it was great. And then like yeah, D'Lo was really cool. Like D'Lo had a really big impact on me when I first started wrestling.
Mhm.
Because he did a seminar at Future Shop when I was like
Yeah.
15, and he had such a massive, massive impact on me, and like the work, like the things he did, and how he treated us has kind of stayed with me ever since. So I was really grateful I got the opportunity to kind of thank him for that. Because it's been like 10 years, I think, since I'd last seen him. So I was just like, I'm still here, I'm grafting away, like, and I really want to kind of thank you for having such a pivotal moment of my wrestling career. So yeah, it was really cool.
Two more questions for you. You know, as
Mhm.
we're looking towards the future now, you're about 10 months into your
Yeah.
comeback. Who are some competitors that you're eyeing on, besides Lana, of course, that you're eyeing on working with coming up in the next few months?
Ah, hmm. I would really like. I'm really enjoying the moment that when I did my first run, I wrestled very similar people all the time, whereas
Mhm.
now I feel like every match is different. Mostly, like I'm wrestling new people all the time,
Yeah.
which is a really cool experience. I'd love to work more intergender matches. Um, Not to say there's not like the women are amazing on the wrestling, but like there's so many guys that I love, like a lot of friends as well that I love to wrestle.
Yeah.
And like since me and Lana have been doing the Lally stuff, a lot of people have said to us like, "Oh, I really want to tag with you and like wrestle you as a tag. Like you're a lot of fun." So we've got a lot of people that are eyeing us up once she tags with me. So I'm trying to like think of names, but I really can't like nothing's not that I don't think about it, but like nothing's coming to the top of my head. Um, but I think like generally, like women wrestling wise, um, I love to wrestle people like Kanji and Emerson. Um, God, my brain like doesn't is not thinking right. I wrestled like Nina Samuels for the first time a few months ago. It was like a five
She's
minute match, so I was a
she's
bit gutted.
amazing.
She's so so good and a really
God.
really nice person as well. So she that was a lot of fun. I was gutted it was only 5 minutes, but I was like, this is a really cool experience. So that was really fun. And that was just such a cool experience. I never like it's not often that I get to wrestle people that are on these higher platforms and have done
Yeah.
so much as well. And like I wrestled Danny a few months ago, Danny Loon, and that was really really cool. Um, so yeah, just kind of branching into that kind of next level a little bit would be really, really not saying the women I've wrestled at like, but just the women that
Right.
are working on like Progress and Rev Pro and like
Yeah.
OTT and stuff like that. That I feel like I could learn so so much from. So yeah, probably just trying to graft away a little bit and try and work some of those women.
Yeah, you know, we're always
Yeah.
aiming to keep elevating, and that has to do
Mhm.
with a little bit to do with my final question. What are some of your personal and professional goals for, my God, we're going to be halfway through 2025, the rest of
And
2025 and beyond?
I'd love to wrestle in another country. So I'd love to, even just Europe. I'd love to wrestle in Europe. I went to a Rev Pro show in Barcelona a few weeks ago, and
Ooh,
that was incredible. And I would have loved to wrestle in Barcelona. Like the people are so nice. The atmosphere was just. Brit Rest crowds are cool, but like the Barcelona crowd was just insane. And I was like, this would have been such a good venue to wrestle in. Um, Take away the fact that it's boiling hot, but like the crowd was insane.
mm,
So that was really really cool experience just to watch as a fan. I was like, this is mint. Um, so like yeah, so my first goal would be wrestling Europe. Um, Big one would be Japan. Um, and then yeah, just continue wrestling with bigger people. Get a championship at some point. Hopefully, the tag belts with Lana Austin somewhere. I would take that over a singles belt. Um, and then yeah, just maybe try and branch out. Some of these other companies would be really cool. Um, So yeah, I've got a few companies that I'd love to like work for, so that's very exciting.
Hopefully we get you here in the States one day too as well.
Yes, that'd
Fingers
be really,
crossed
really
for that.
cool.
But obviously, the most important thing right now is winning over Lana Austin because you
Yes.
two could create some real magic together. We're rooting
hmm
for you.
Yeah.
Volley forever, you know.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, though, Holly, please let the listeners know where they can find you online and support you.
So you can find me on Twitter under Defo Not Holly because I got banned. So I'm
Oh my God.
trying to stay low key.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm trying to build my followers up on there. So if you could follow me, that'd be great. I've got Instagram at Hollie Barlow _. I've got my big cartel. I've just released some new t-shirts. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
sugar, spice, and suplexes, I think.
Yeah.
.bigcartel.com. And then yeah, that's pretty much it, I think.
It's really cute, by the way, like Powerpuff Girl
Thank
inspired.
you.
Very cute.
I am loving it. It kind of, I don't even know how it happened. I think um I did a I did a my first ever show was heel and I was like, oh, I feel like a little Powerpuff Girl, like, you know, and I put the coat of like sugar spice and everything nice.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I could make that a thing. And then I started getting announced as it. And then I was like, right, I got to make t-shirts. And I got my little like person made, little
Yeah.
Powerpuff Girl made. And I was like, this is so cool. So very exciting.
Well, Holly, thank you so much for joining me here
Thank
today. And we're so
you.
glad that you are back in the wrestling space. Keep following Holly to see where her next moves. Who knows, in the next couple of weeks, she could have championship
Mhm.
gold. We're manifesting it for you, girl. And
Yes.
hashtag Lolly for life. Holly,
Yes.
thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me. It's been really fun.